Donnie Darko. What the hell kind of name is that? It's like some sort of superhero or something.
What makes you think I'm not?
Hey y'all, Barely There here with another movie review for you. Out of nowhere, the buddy who I've done the majority of my reviews with, David Lee, just randomly wanted to watch and review the movie Donnie Darko. I've had some experience with this movie before. I watched it years and years ago. A good buddy sat me down and made me watch it. And I had no idea what the hell was going on. And literally about 15 plus years later, here I am watching it again. And did I learn anything from it? Do I appreciate it more? Do I appreciate it less? I don't know. Even to this day, I still kind of don't know, even though we just did this review. But let's see what our thoughts were on the cult classic of a movie, Donnie Darko.
Let's go.
The movie we're reviewing tonight, guys, is Donnie Darko. Question number one, David. Because this was your idea. Why did you want? Why did you want? Question number one. Why did you want us, to watch and review this movie?
Seth Rogen.
Okay,
Boom.
that's reasonable. Question number two. What is this movie about?
That is a question. And
That is.
that's what we're probably going to answer in this review.
That's
Probably.
correct. Probably.
Yes.
I also would have accepted Seth Rogen. So yeah, Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko is a 2001 American science fiction psychological thriller. Starring many people. Jake Gyllenhaal is the title character. His sister's in it. Got Drew Barrymore, of course. Late great Patrick Swayze. It follows the adventures of Donnie Darko, a very troubled young teen, as he seeks to find the meaning behind his doomsday-related visions. This is a movie. That's spoiler. That's my rating. Let's talk. Let's talk about some of the things that we enjoyed about this movie. David, what's something that you really admired about this movie?
Sure. I like the music in this movie.
Incorrect. The music. No, you're good. You're good. That's what I was gonna say. Go ahead. I think it's something else now, but go ahead.
I think it's just something like, like what kind of makes it like that bit of a cult classic there, like you had like the slow frames playing like Tears for Fears, like that was just like a distinct like moment in the movie that I like never really forgot. Since I watched it like way back when. I did not watch this movie when it came out, but probably like when I was a teenager, I watched this movie for the first time. But yeah, like it's just got that there's kind of like that ambient kind of like what's happening. Like just bit, this takes place in the 80s, so they just have that 80s vibe going on, there. I like that aspect about the movie.
Okay, those are some good points. Yeah, both the music and the the fact it takes place in the 80s. Yeah, I agree. Looking at the movie though, like I don't think I knew that was taking place in the 80s until I think I saw like the timestamp on it or whatever. But yeah, I like those. And of course the music, Mad World it's pretty much like this. Pretty much like if Donnie Darko was a superhero. God, I guess that would be his theme song, as depressing as it is. Just him walking into a room like, hey, heroes here. All around me.
Drop food on the floor,
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'm sorry. I hope you don't drop any food in the very near future. But yeah, that music, it's honestly pretty iconic, and it does really fit. I like you, I didn't watch this movie until I was a teenager. I remember our buddy Ray Sean, like he got a group of us and he kind of just like made us sit down and watch it, and I did. And I hadn't seen. I mean, like this was like 15 years ago. Anyway, so I was down to watch it, and I didn't remember until like I watched it just the other night. I didn't remember much about this movie, except very specifically that ending scene where after Donnie dies. I do remember that specific scene of like all the characters waking up or like realizing, having some sense of memory of what happened, and just that shot going across all of them and that music playing, that Mount Rural playing. I remember that very distinctly in my head, which I found very powerful. So I really like that too. As for me, a thing that I liked, honestly, was just Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought he did a great job acting wise. Like he gets to show off a lot of different emotions and feelings in this movie. Some of my favorite are when he sits down, when he has those therapy sessions. He goes through quite a wide range. He goes to kind of like in the beginning, he's just like kind of messing with her, to when she quickly starts using hypnotherapy on him, and he's talking about like how much like he just thinks about women and then having sex with them, and like he's smiling, he's goofy, he's getting all kind of weird, and to their deep conversation. I remember the one conversation they had, it was very deep about like, do you believe in God and love? Are you afraid of being alone?
Love after love.
That love and death, and like how depressing the thought is, like telling him the story about how his dog just crawled under their porch and just died. And he thought it was just like to be left alone. Is the search for God worth it? And he's like, not if everybody dies alone. Like that, I remember that like really hitting me, something I didn't really take away the first time I saw it. And to their last meeting where he's telling her under the hypnotherapy, like, hey, I see Frank right now, it's freaking me out. He says the world's gonna end, I don't know what to do. Like I just really liked Jake Gyllenhaal. Like he's really smart. The dude has range. He picks projects that are interesting to him. The last movie I really liked that he was in was a movie called Nightcrawler. I don't know if you've seen it or heard of it, but like I could see like, oh yeah, this is where he must have pulled from, because like they're kind of similar characters, at least similar atmospheres, just how like kind of creepy and kind of disturbed.
Right, same tones.
Yeah, same tones. Right. So so yeah, I really appreciated that this time around.
Yeah. Like hashtag did it suck? Like we don't know. Like it was. I like this movie. There are things in it that were cool, but I feel like I don't know. Part of me wants to say like it came out I don't know, too late. Like what am I trying to say? I feel like this movie like if this movie would have came out like in the 90s, maybe if it would have came out like in the 80s, it would have been more of an impact, And I don't know why they decided to set this movie in the 80s. I'm still not sure why. That was kind of like, because like you said earlier, there was kind of like, you couldn't really tell that it was in the 80s besides when they showed the year. But I like this movie, but it's almost just like, maybe if I would have saw this movie, maybe if I would have been like in a more mature like mindset when this movie came out, and maybe I would have enjoyed it like a bit more. But like just watching older movies, sometimes they kind of like have to stand the test of time, and I feel like this one just wasn't really like, I don't know, it wasn't really that great.
That's interesting. I had almost the exact opposite reaction.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you watched the second time?
Yeah, when I watched it the second time.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't to like a large degree, but I did. I remember when I watched it, other than that scene I remember pretty heavily, when I watched it the first time, I remember just like not liking the movie at all. Like not at all. I don't get it. Like
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. Ray, why did you make us watch this movie? It's okay. It's okay. Let's watch Clockwork Orange. God damn it, Ray. But yeah, I didn't like it at all. But watching it a second time, and I think knowing, also too, like knowing what I was kind of getting myself into, like that helped, and I was able to pick out things more that I just overall appreciated, like the atmosphere building, Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, the mystery and the intrigue of it all, like what is Donnie really going through, and again, it didn't like instantly make it a let's go or the duck, but it definitely kind of helped me enjoy it a little bit more.
Sure.
So that's interesting. I'm surprised it kind of had
right, like
different viewing experience.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that it was trash, but I think just I remember this movie I remember liking this movie better than I do now. You know.
Wow, that's funny because I remember disliking the movie more than I do now.
We are opposite people.
We are. We're probably gonna have the same rating, but we are. We are.
Yeah.
We both give it a barely there.
So. Oh.
No. Okay. No. Moving on. Is there anything else that you particularly liked about the movie, though?
I agree with you. I really do like Jake Gyllenhaal. He's he's low key one of my favorite actors.
Same.
And yeah, like his I enjoy it. I don't think I've ever seen him in a movie where like I didn't like his character. You know. Ooh. But moving on. I like the relationship between him and his sister, between Maggie Gyllenhaal. I feel like that was just them actually being them. You know,
yeah,
like movie.
We needed more.
Right?
I wanted more of that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted more of that. I wanted to see him suck. I wanted to see her suck a fuck. Like I really. Right. How do you do that?
Right. Like what? Like what is that?
What is
that? That was just some like genuine stuff there. Like I wish that we kind of got to see, like, I know the movie wasn't about her, but it would have been kind of interesting to kind of see, like her just like a side thought. Like if we would have got to see a little bit more of her character and like her boyfriend that, like they never said his name until like it was revealed that he was Frank.
He was Frank.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that would just been a little interesting. But yeah, I like them in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about before, Preston. Like, there's a lot of things in this movie you can't just watch this movie and understand what's happening.
Nope. No, you can't.
It's just not possible unless you are your name is Brainiac. It's just not gonna happen.
It does not compute.
Right. And I do think that's why like my list stops a little short on like the things that I do like about this movie. Like again, like I do like this movie. I don't think that this movie is trash, but I would have more on that list. Like if the movie would have kind of just explained itself a little better.
I totally agree. In fact, we could probably get into the negatives right now. I was trying to think if there was anything else positive. I like the movie, the music. I like the atmosphere. Jake Gyllenhaal, pretty much all the acting across the board was pretty good. I forgot how hot Drew Barrymore was back in the day. Droopy doo. I like the movie's length.
The what?
The movie's length, the runtime.
Sure, yeah. It was pretty solid.
It was pretty solid. It was simple. Or maybe it's because we didn't really like follow the whole story all the way through, but as an understanding what it all meant. The more we do these reviews, the more we see these movies, the more I appreciate like a movie that trims out the fat and isn't unnecessarily over like 2 or 2.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
and I like the ending of the movie. It's just the stuff in between that's got me fucked up. All right, so let's talk about real quick our negatives. I'll go first, and I think it really is the fundamental flaw of this movie. And I feel like there is a good story in here, and I think I messaged this to you. It's just this movie, in terms of its storytelling, it's too messy. It's too over the place. There is, at the same time, there's too much information and not enough, or at least not the correct information being thrown our way. And I think that's supposed to like put us in Donnie's shoes, because Donnie's like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what's going on. Like, we're all supposed to be haunted by Frank. You know what I mean? Like, really be put in his perspective. But at the same time, as a viewer, and like Donnie, you get frustrated because you don't know what the hell is going on. But at least you feel like, as Donnie, being a character in this movie, has some control over his actions. We, as the viewer, don't. We're forced to like watch whatever's being displayed on screen. And when information like that is being withheld from the viewer, and we don't understand why, it can make the movie kind of frustrating to watch. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are some parts that kind of like shake you out of it, like the cool things with Frank do keep you intrigued, and the kind of like cool, simple romance between him and Gretchen is nice, and stuff like that. But when you feel like you hit certain plot points, like Frank telling him to burn down the pervert's house, which I thought was funny, or like or scenes where you feel like they're supposed to be of great importance, like when the school flooded at the beginning, you get this sense, like kind of like Donnie, like, yeah, this is important, but I don't know what the hell is happening or why this is happening, and it kind of leaves a little sour taste in your mouth. Sure. So, yeah, like, that's my problem.
Yeah, after watching the movie, like you're like, what? Like there's no way for you to understand what's fully going on in this movie unless you watch a explanation video. It was
outside research,
right,
start to finish, which I think is okay. Awesome. So another thing I dislike, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I love the movie's atmosphere. Like, it achieves its depressing, ominous, mysterious tone almost from start to finish, which I think is an awesome, cool thing to do. And I love the movie's runtime. I said this. However, objection. Even for an hour and 47 minutes long, for it to be like 95% that, coupled with the muddled story, it can be pretty exhausting to sit through. You'll feel the movie starts off nice, but the movie goes through some pretty heavy stuff, and it ends on a pretty heavy note, for sure. Mm-hmm. And it'll leave you being a Debbie Downer. Like, it'll rain out your rainbows. It'll clip some butterflies. It'll knock some winds out of your sails. Like, it'll and that's whether or not you do understand the movie. Like, it'll leave you with a sense of like you lose a little faith in life. Like after reminded of the scene in Family Guy when the power went out in Coal Hog, and I think it was Cleveland. Like, he was jumping on that trampoline, and then like he just stopped. Of course, this doesn't make any sense.
What kind of trampoline is that, bro?
Electric power. Maybe it's good for the environment. It's electric power. Opposed to those gas powered trampolines. But yeah, him just like stopping like instantly. He's just like, oh, like I kind of had that sense again. So like it's good. It does the sad ominous thing well, but it almost does it too well. You know, a little more humor, a little more levity.
Sure. It's a really great movie, like 100%. It's a great movie. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the
Toy Story.
Toy Story. Toy Story 5, RC's
Redemption.
Redemption.
We're on the same book. We're on the same page, damn it. Because what happened to him? There's a whole beginning of 4, saving him. Bro. Never happened.
You seeing Greg the Bunny, bro.
Okay. Go on.
But it's got that Tim Burton kind of feel to it. Like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like of Edward Scissorhands. You know, like a bit, like kind of just like in that same time frame of like movies. I think like they came out around the same era, maybe. But
yeah, close to.
Yeah, kind of just reminded me of that. It's not the most depressing thing I ever seen in my life, but it's just really like just like, geez, man, like this is not a happy movie. I guess like he wins in the end, but it's still like he dies. You know,
was it a dream?
I like this movie, but it was just like, I don't know. I guess it just was. It really goes back to like the you have it and read like a freaking thesaurus in order to understand this movie. You know, like what's going on, because there's just way too much stuff that just overall you're left clueless on unless you do some external research there.
Right.
You know,
right. I don't want to have to do homework to watch my movie.
Right, for sure. It pays off. I really do feel like satisfied and like relieved after I found out. I was like, okay, like it's like that's awesome, you know. But just still, you know.
No, I agree.
Mm-hmm. We just had like we had a whole entire conversation before we came on here about
what is this movie about again?
Right. It's
so
like
the ending, right? So if he sent the thing back to the timeline, does that mean because he died, did he have to? Yeah, it's just it's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. And not in a fun Inception kind of way, like, ooh, was it a dream? Like, it's like, no, what really? What really happened? Right. It's not like I want to know. It's like I need to know because I don't fully.
Sure, like Inception did it right. They leave you understand fully what's going on for the most part, but they leave that little bit out of there that's left for interpretation, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This movie, no, you just like books, they're just like TV shows in the sense that it's all just storytelling. And the minute you feel like you have to do outside research to understand it, I think that's when a movie or TV show or a book fails. I think I got everything I needed out of the way. I think I'm just gonna give my rating right now.
Sure.
I'm giving this movie I'm giving this movie
Speak it out.
I'm giving it. They say your first instinct is right. I may have to retract this later, but I'm giving this movie a barely there. I'm giving it a barely there. I think it's a barely there movie means to me like it's semi decent. Like there's something here for somebody. It's worth at least. Here's the thing. It's worth at least one watch through, but I feel like to fully appreciate the movie, you might need to watch it twice. But like I did, that's when I personally appreciated it more. Yeah, it's good. It's definitely got things in there to like about it. The chemistry between all the characters, the acting, all around for the most part. It's definitely intriguing, and like I said, it's unique. You probably won't see another movie like it. But just on a storytelling standpoint, it's just fundamentally flawed. There's a lot of cool scenes, but you just don't understand the basis for like the majority of them. You don't understand, as cool as that bunny costume is, and like the backstory of Frank, you don't fully understand. Even when it's revealed towards the end, like you don't fully understand what and why is everything happening. And I think that's just a big no-no. To me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, would I watch it again? I'd probably wait another 15 years. I don't know to watch it again, but I don't regret it either time really. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a barely there.
Okay.
Barely there.
Sure. And I agree with you, my friend. I would give this movie a barely there as well. Give it the BT. There. I think this movie is just, I'm not trying to sound, conflicting with what I said earlier. But when I say this, I do think this is a great movie. I think it's a great movie. But it just kind of delivered it kind of wrong. Just the way the all the interpretation left up to you. Just there's no way that you're gonna like say, oh, okay, I am content watching.
Nope.
There's none of that.
Not at all.
That's not happening. I really think that in the right hands that this will be a good remake. I think if they remade this movie and like actually explained the movie in the movie, I think that it has the potential to be better than its predecessor there. Hands down, this movie is in like the hall of cult classics there. You can't get away from like Donnie Darko if you're like a movie lover, it just brings up for like years later we're still like talking about what? We're still like saying like, where's this guy, blah blah blah. But
right.
Yeah, just so overall, me being in probably like the best mindset that I've been in my life as now in the present, me watching this movie, it was definitely just, it was a barely there for me.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Thanks for buying me the antidepressants, all right?
Yeah, I'll cash out you the money right now.
Thanks, man.
Should only be like what, a few $100,000.
That's a few,
A few. It's okay. I'm working part time. I'm all right. That's chump change.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We got some more. We got some more reviews coming out. I know one that I'm particularly interested in, and David's looking forward to it.
Please. Please. You couldn't even finish. Like, please.
I'm gonna throw up. I can't. I'm crying right now. Oh my god. Honest to God.
Oh gosh.
I am two tears just left in both my eyes. We're gonna review. Right, David? Season 3 of The Runaways. Coming out in a few months. Hey, buddy.
Guys, it's been real. All right.
It's been real. All right. David just G out Kazid out of here. Thank you guys for listening once again to Barely There. Barely There. And now we are. Oh, yeah, David. Yeah, he's gone? Okay, yeah, he's gone. All right, yep. Barely There. And now we're here. Thank you for listening and keep watching.